So you can ask. Representative Nuccio, followed by Representative Harrison, followed by Representative Reyes, followed by Representative Porter.
Good morning, Commissioner, and good morning to your team. Thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me some time to ask a couple of questions here. And I know we're trying to be brief here. My subject is unfortunately something that I don't think we can really be brief on. So I'm going to high level it and then say that I definitely want to understand what my questions better in the subcommittee meeting. There are several line items in here for the stormwater, for social justice, environmental justice stuff. Looking at the environmental quality, the environmental conservation lines that you have, Interstate Environmental Commission, New England Interstate and Water Pollution Commission. And I want to understand what DEEP is going to do about the emerging contaminant that is wreaking havoc in my district and in other small towns in the state, which is the contamination of road salt and sodium chloride. I don't see anything specifically in here around that. And as an emergent contaminant, I do not see what I would like to see as any kind of real focus on what we're doing with this. Specifically regarding the 2007 report that the state of Connecticut used to encourage and slightly demand that all of the towns use sodium chloride. For those towns that are small towns like mine that rely on wells, that do not have infrastructure for water, who are never going to place high on a social value index. We are seeing massive amount of wells that do not have potable water. And your organization has done some reviews in my area that say that I'm not going to have potable water in these areas for 100 years, like they're so contaminated. All of this gets back to that 2007 report and the state pushing using sodium chloride. Towns that have done the green snow program, et cetera. My town was one of the first towns to do the green snow program, and I'm still seeing massive contamination of wells. So I really want to understand, what do we need to do in this state to do an environmental study that will stop putting this poison on the roads? When are we going to have something for our roads that is not contaminating drinking water for people? I want to know how much money it's going to cost for us to do that survey, to understand what we can be doing on our roads that is not killing the water, the ground plants, the fish in the lakes. And I would like to also understand in here, where is there money for starting to test those streams and tributaries that are showing massive contamination and dying off of foliage and small animals? There's no testing that is happening that I'm aware of. And you guys are our stop on this. You are the Department of Environmental Protection. I'm sitting here struggling, saying I've got entire towns of people who are not being represented, who are not, like, there's nothing that I can find in this budget here. And I'm literally looking through every line that you have that's going to start to take this seriously and try to find an alternative. So did I miss something? Is there something in here that I don't see that is going to start to tackle this issue?
Representative Graham Stevens again, I'm happy to field your question. And first off, there's nothing that's more important than people's drinking water, right? This is something that is necessary to sustain life. And it is something that we work tirelessly to address. And yes, salt has become a bigger problem within Connecticut. And that is something that we are working on with our partners across the state, including DOT, that deals with the traffic safety issues. And I will say that, more to come on what we're doing specifically about salt as a state. But I will also say that Connecticut has a very robust program to sample our water courses and water bodies. And I'd be more than happy to share some more information with you targeted specifically to your district or statewide. And more than happy as well to touch base with you on the SALT project in Tolland. We do have some updates that we can provide you in the working group meeting.
I would appreciate that. And it is not just about my district, right? Yes, my district is unfortunately one of the leading districts with this kind of contamination. But this is something that is going to be, if not already is the next crumbling foundation issue that we have. And unfortunately, the state is driving it. The 2007 report has been shown to be wrong. You cannot make assumptions that were made on that for people who have city water and people who have wells, and you're not taking geological information into consideration. It was a faulty report that is now causing the contamination of people's water, and there's no relief, right? There's no relief. The way that the revolving state fund right now for water is, just in one of my communities, it's $18 to $24 million to bring water, to bring city water to them. $18 to $24 million. The towns can't afford this. And as grateful as I am that this project is out there, the amount of loan forgiveness on that isn't going to touch it. And people can't afford to assume that kind of debt because of the stuff the state of Connecticut said was safe. Said it was safe to put on the roads. It is clearly not safe. So I want to understand before this budget is done, how much money I have to sit down with Tony and Kathy to say, I need X amount of money in there to start taking this situation seriously and stop putting this on our roads. So that's the number that I want before we get into these work sessions. I want to know how much it's going to cost for the state to stop poisoning people's wells.
And we will work on getting those numbers with our partners at DOT who handle the road safety issues, and with our partners at DPH who administer the drinking water state revolving fund.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, ma'am. Representative